I'm Albert from Summer Associate Hub, and this is Practice in Point One, where we interview big law attorneys all about their practice in under 6 minutes or point one billable hours. Tell us your name, your title, your practice area, and where you work.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alisha Adams. I am an associate at Jackson Walker, and I'm in their Austin office in their environmental and regulatory practice group.
Great. So take us through a typical project that you'd work on from beginning to end.
Yeah, so environmental law it's cool, but also pretty strange because we cover a lot of different topics. I mean, there's a lot of facets to environmental law: water, waste, utilities, and air. And so that means that every project and every case I do is different, but I like it because of that. I get to do litigation, regulatory, and transactional work. So one example of that, something more on the litigation regulatory side of it is, for example, for our electric utilities, I'll help them whenever they need to go and make a new transmission line, build a new transmission line. So we'll work with them through that entire process, which starts with working with consultants to see where the line should go and what options are, then filing at the Public Utility Commission of Texas and going through that process there, which is almost like baby court. We go through discovery, we have interveners, we negotiate, and then at the end, if we can't come to an agreement, a settlement, we will go to hearing, again, like a full baby court experience. And so that's a really cool way to get to know the client, but also to see something go from an idea that's needed all the way to the end, and figuring out which route ultimately gets selected and why, and proving why that is necessary for the utility.
What does everyone on your team do?
Yes. So associates, particularly at Jackson Walker, tend to do basically the same thing a partner would do. We are very much a hands-on learning experience. So from the day that I started until now, 8 years later into my career, it's very much about doing whatever is necessary to get the client the result that they want. So sometimes that's research, sometimes that's drafting a pleading or a contract, sometimes that's looking into, making phone calls, calling different agencies, seeing what the requirements are, analyzing consultant reports. It kind of varies, but it's very much just geared towards what the client needs and how we can get them there.
So my favorite question, what is the coolest case or legal issue that you've worked on?
Yeah, so I don't know if this one is cool for other people, but it's cool for me, and my nerdy environmental love for the environment. One thing that I have started doing lately in my career is, which I touched on before, was talking to real estate developers and helping them when they're acquiring new land and developing it. So one project in particular that I enjoyed working on was a piece of land in Florida that used to be a golf course. So in golf courses, they use a lot of pesticides to keep the grass green. And there was arsenic everywhere, all over groundwater, soil, all over the property. And they wanted to put homes on there. And so it was a process of figuring out, how do we get rid of this arsenic? And then going through the environmental process, excavating, doing different environmental remediation activities, and then confirming it was all gone, then going through the regulatory process this was in Florida, so the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, getting the approvals for them to move forward, putting the necessary restrictive covenants on, saying, for example, you can't drill a well here because the water's still a little bit contaminated. And then ultimately getting to the finish line and having them sell homes with a disclosure, letting home buyers know, okay, we did all this happened on your property. We've done all this work to it. Now it's safe. Here's all the approvals we've gotten. And letting them be aware when they purchase a property. So it was a really neat experience to see that all the way from the beginning to the end and going through so many of the regulatory hoops to get there.
That's great. So it's always helpful for students to know, why did you choose to be an environmental lawyer?
I chose environmental law. I think maybe one of the rare people where I went to law school and I thought I was going to do environmental law, and I actually stuck to it. I was an environmental science undergrad. I took environmental law as an elective and thought, wait, this is really cool. I actually really enjoy this. And so then when I was in law school, I took every environmental law class that I could, 2L and 3L year, still enjoyed it, spent my summers doing environmental law, one of the summers at Jackson Walker, and really realized like this is what I want to do. And so that's kind of how I ended up here. And, I thought at the time, like, oh, environmental law, that just means like we're saving the animals, we're doing that sort of stuff. And we do some of that too, and it's cool, but there's a lot more to it, a lot more nuances, administrative and regulations. And it's been really interesting. I love getting to do all of the types of law under the environmental umbrella, and kind of keeps me on my toes. It makes life interesting, and I never have the same day. So it's been a really great experience.
Fantastic. Well, Alisha Adams, thank you for joining us. Fantastic insights into the life of an environmental lawyer. Thanks.
Thanks so much for having me.